الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته ومنتهى علمه وجميع ما شاء وذرى وبرى عالم الغيب شهادة الرحمن الرحيم المالك القدوس العزيز الحكيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون أما بعد فيقول الله تعالى في سورة يوسف لقد كان في قصاصهم عبرة لأولي الألباب لقد كان في قصاصهم عبرة لأولي الألباب صدق الله العظيم. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in the last ayat, the last verse of Surah Yusuf, Surah number 12, He says, indeed, in their stories are ibrah, or lessons, for people of depth, for people of insight. When Allah says their stories, Allah is talking about the stories of the prophets. Indeed, in their stories are lessons for people who have insight. Last week, we talked about loyalty and its reality. And we used the story of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with regards to the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. And we mentioned about a handful of incidences connected with the Treaty of Hudaybiyah where you saw the loyalty of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to his companions and his family come out. And likewise, you saw the loyalty that the companions had to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and amongst each other. You saw their loyalty showing out. And so there's deep lessons in all of these stories. And if we're not careful, we can go off into any one of these stories or any section of one of these stories, and we can use up all of our time. I want to today show some lessons that we get from the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. This thing might need some batteries. From Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Can you look in the closet and see if there's double batteries? Should be on top of the hand. No, right in front of you. Nothing there. Double A. I want to bring your mind, or bring your concentration over to Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. The beginning of the story, and this story of Prophet Yusuf is the only story, number one, the surah is named after him, and the whole entire surah is about his story. There's no other story like that in the Quran. You find pieces and parts of the stories of different anbiya or different prophets and messengers scattered out throughout the Quran. Not a whole entire surah dedicated to one prophet in one surah, in one story. And in the beginning of the story, it begins with a dream. وَإِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ أَشْرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَقَمَرًا رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. Remember when Yusuf said to his father, "O my beloved father, I have seen the sun, the moon, and 11 stars. I saw them prostrating themselves to me." This is significant for many reasons. Number one, Allah mentioned it. So anything that's mentioned in the Quran, regardless of how minute you may think it is, it's very deep. Allah don't waste time. And Allah don't waste huruf. He don't waste letters. Everything is there for a reason. And everything is there for us to get benefit from. Yusuf said to his father, "Ya abati, O my beloved father." He didn't say, "Ya abi," or "Ya abba," right? Which means, "O father," "O my father." He said, "Ya abati," which includes a high level of affection. It's almost like it's a contraction between the words Habibi and Abi. My beloved and my father. He said, "Ya abati." Oh, my beloved father. So this is not a son who has anger issues with his father. There's a connection there. Ya abati, I saw in a dream the sun, the moon, and 11 stars. I saw them prostrating to me. Number one, his father's a prophet. His father's prophet Yaqub, prophet Jacob. One of the gifts of prophets is they know how to interpret dreams. But also, the skill of interpreting dreams is not restricted to prophets. And these things we have to filter and understand to make it relevant for us. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ said prophecy is divided up into 46 parts. And the only part that remains is the true dream. So maybe you may not have had a vivid dream, but maybe you have aspirations. Maybe you have dreams, you have visions, you have places you want to go. If you have any experience in this life, you know you can't share that with everyone. Man, one day I hope to do this and do that. If you've been living life long enough, you know you can't do that. So Prophet Yusuf, he's not a prophet yet, he's still a child, he says to his father, I've seen this in my dream, my vision. Qala ya bunayya la taqsus ru'yaka ala ikhwatika fayakidu laka kayda inna shaytan lakum aduwwun mubin. He didn't say, oh Ibn, ya Ibni. He said, ya bunayya. Same thing. Oh my beloved son, not just my son, affection is there. Oh my beloved son. Did he say your dream means such and such, this, that, and the third? Oh. First he taught him about the implications of your dream, of his dream. Give you some instructions. La taqsus ru'yaka ala ikhwatika. Oh my beloved son, don't tell your brothers your dream. Don't tell them. Why? For yakidu like Al-Qaeda. Because they're going to start scheming and plotting on you. What? Yes. Is this a household in the hood? Is it a trap house? No. It's a prophetic house. A house of righteousness. A house of one of the biggest prophets in history. And even in their house, they have to worry about this. Don't tell your brothers your dream. They will plot a plan against you. And he didn't stop there. He said, verily, Shaitan is to you an open enemy. Yes, your brothers, they're going to be the ones plotting on you. But the ultimate enemy is Shaitan. Your brothers just got caught up. Shaitan is your real enemy. But you're going to see Shaitan's work on the hands of your brothers. Your blood brothers. Same father. And you know the rest of the story. You know that one of them said, Uqtulu Yusuf. That's what they said about their brother. Their father's a prophet. Not just a regular wali of Allah. Not just a regular mu'min. Not just a regular Muslim. A prophet of Allah. Uqtulu Yusuf. Let's kill Yusuf. Talk about a breakdown in loyalty. Ponder on that while I sit. Walhamdulillah. Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa afdalu salatu wa atamu taslim ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een wa radiyallahu ta'ala an sadat al-tabi'een wa ulama al-amilin wa a'immatul arba'at al-mujtahideen wa muqallidihim ila yawmiddin amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters, you need to reread Surah number 12, chapter number 12, Surah Joseph, Surah Yusuf. And when you reread it, I want you to think about your own family. I want you to think about your own friends. I want you to think about your own wife, your own husband. And we don't really have time to go into it, but there are certain things about the family of Yusuf that are not mentioned in that surah. It's not mentioned in the Quran. You have to read books on like stories of the prophets or Tariq Tabari to know that there was a context to this family makeup. In this story, you find jealousy between brothers and anger between brothers. Not only Prophet Yusuf and his brothers, but their father and their uncle, Prophet Yaqub and his brother Esau. Is a long backdrop to this. Just like many of our families, there's stories in our families. There's some stuff that happened in our families. Most, if not all of us, that happened way back when. And maybe you thought about it, or maybe you didn't think about it. Maybe you have an aunt in your family. She's a sister of your mother, but they don't get along. Or maybe you have an uncle who seems to be isolated from the rest of the family. There's a story behind that. And you may know the story, you may not know the story. And the beautiful thing about Surah Yusuf is that this surah addresses it. It deals with it. It shows you how that enmity in the family, what it can lead to. And this is why number one, we have to study the Quran, but we have to take lessons from it. And we have to implement it. It's not good enough just to take a lesson from the Quran and know it intellectually. Like you know it, like the back of your hand. If you know it like the back of your hand, but you don't practice it, what good is it? That knowledge that you have will be used against you on the day of judgment, not for you. If you have the knowledge, but you don't practice it. Allah is showing us that this was a situation between brothers in a prophetic household. What about us, who may or may not be brothers by blood? We are brothers by Imam. We are brothers by faith. We are brothers by Islam. As Allah says, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. Only the believers are brothers. So make peace between the brothers. And fear Allah so that you may receive some of His mercy. See, a lot of us, we talk about family ties. We talk about the brotherhood. And we uphold the brotherhood. But at the same time, we're doing things to undermine the family. And we're doing things to undermine the brotherhood. I don't mean to bust some of you brothers and sisters' bubble. But there's a huge possibility that one of your friends, your brother, your sister, they can't wait for your family to go into turmoil, for example. They can't wait for a divorce to happen. I'm serious. There's some brothers and sisters, they have their finger on the pulse of your marriage. I'm serious. They're watching everything. Why? Because the brother, the sister, they're a bad person? No. People don't wake up, you know what? I'm going to be a foul, grimy dude today. You know what? I'm going to try to get with my brother's wife. It don't happen like that. It happens gradually. And it's usually motivated by something. Maybe jealousy or something. That's why we have to be careful. Sometimes our wives don't tell us. Especially like on social media. People blame social media. It's not social media's fault. Social media only brings out what's already there. He been a grimy dude. You just didn't know he was a grimy dude until he posted it on Facebook. I'm serious, especially our sisters, they have to watch out. Something they think is innocent may be used as a tool. For example, a sister may say, I think I'm going to get my nails done this week, since, alhamdulillah. There's some brother stalking. It may be your husband's man. She's getting her nails done. So that means she's going to be using nail polish. So that means she doesn't have to make wudu, which means she's not praying, which means she's on her menses. So I know her menses come. Y'all think I'm exaggerating. I'm not trying to be funny. There's brothers that do that. They timing you. They know when your wife menses come on because she said she's going to get her nails painted. And then she says, what do you say when brothers or your husband do such and such and such and such? He's like, aha. She must be talking about herself because she got to assume the situation because he's up close. He's your husband's man. He knows what's going on. That gotta be her. As soon as it goes down, the inbox, ding, ringtone. Assalamu alaikum, sister. I saw what you posted. If I could be of any assistance, I'm here for you. And sisters love to have a shoulder to cry on. And your best friend is right there with the shoulder pads. This is a reality. And it's vice versa too. Alhamdulillah, I love to see a good married sister. Alhamdulillah, Allah's blessing you with the bliss of matrimony. And that same sister is in your husband's inbox. Alhamdulillah, I need a good brother like you. Matter of fact, I don't have a wali. Can you be my wali? So I can have an excuse to tell you all of my deep, darkest secrets. And tell you what my favorite color is. And give you my bodily proportions. So just so you know, you can tell the brothers, about me. If it's a stranger, it doesn't hurt. If it's from someone near you, it hurts. Sometimes we have friends, so-called friends, our Muslim brothers, who will rob us blind. We may be on the job with them. And you find out somebody at the job was snitching on you. But we got all of these confidentiality policies that, you can't tell who's telling, you can't reveal who's doing the snitching. But sometimes every now and then you find out. And when you find out, you may be surprised. It's your sister or your brother that you've been praying next to every day or every week. They caused you to lose your job. Why? Because they bad people, they evil, they have horns in their tail? No. Something else. Jealousy. Something else. Allah knows what it is. We mentioning these things. Why? Back to Prophet Yusuf. One of his brothers, his blood brothers, said, it's in the Quran, Uqtulu Yusuf. Let's kill Yusuf. His own brother wanted him dead. Why? His brother was bullying him? Yusuf was a younger brother. When you read some of the commentary, they tell you when Yusuf was telling his dream to his father, their stepmother overheard, told the brothers. Some of the commentary. Some of the commentary already said they was already hating because they recognized the connection between Yusuf and his father Yaqub. That was enough for them. And Allah says that in the Quran. Allah quotes them. Yusuf is more beloved by our father than us. This is the conversation that they're having in the Quran. That was the motivation. They wanted some of that love. They threw Yusuf in the well. Edom. They wasn't even creative. Yaqub didn't even want to send Yusuf to play with his older brothers. He said, I fear like a wolf will eat him or something. They weren't even creative enough to come up with a different excuse. They came back with the same excuse that Yaqub said that they would say. Or a wolf ate him. He was sold into slavery in a foreign country, Misr, Egypt. That led him to being in prison. He tried to, the wife of the Aziz tried to come on to him and then said, me too. She came on to him. He was running from her. She ripped his shirt. The door opened. Who was there? Her husband. Caught. Your wife trying to rape another man. What did she say? Me too. Oh, beloved, what's the reward? What's the recompense of someone who tries to dishonor your wife? Shirts ripped. How are we going to decide? Someone from her family. Again, read the commentary. There's a hadith that says 3 people spoke from the cradle. One of them was Isa, Jesus, the son of Mary. Another one was a woman from her family. It was a miracle. It was a baby who was still in the cradle that said, if his shirt is torn from the front, then she's telling the truth and he's a liar. But if his shirt is torn from the back, he's telling the truth and she's a liar. It was a baby in the cradle that said that. And his shirt was torn from the back. They put him in prison anyway. How did this start? Jealousy. The brothers of Yusuf. Who gets the ultimate blame? Allah told us, Shaitan. Who's doing the handiwork? The brothers. You know the story. He gets out of prison. Yusuf gets authority in Egypt. The brothers have to come back to him during time of a famine to eat. Now think about it. A lot of us love this. Someone stab us in the back, someone betray us, somebody violate the sacred loyalty, and then they act like everything is all cool, but then they got to come back to you. Yeah, you got to come back. Some of us love that. Oh, man. I know you'll be back. They came back. At the end of the day, at the end of the story, when he revealed his identity to them, what did he say to them? La tathriba alaykum al-yawm. There's no blemish on you today. In other words, I'm forgiving you for what you have done to me. Allahu Akbar. The Prophet ﷺ said the exact same words. He said it at the conquest of Mecca. He said it after they tried to starve him and his family to death. They tried to assassinate him. Them starving him to death led to the death of his uncle, Abu Talib, his beloved. They led to the death of his wife, Khadijah. They led to the martyrdom of Sumayyah and Yasir. It led to the death of Hamza, his other uncle, during the Battle of Uhud. Their trespasses, their violations. Remember, the Quraysh is the family of the Prophet ﷺ. This is his own family doing this to him. Because they don't want to accept the truth. Years later, at the conquest of Mecca, they think, oh, he got us. He's gonna kill us. It's over with. What did he say when he entered Mecca? La tathriba alaykum al-yawm. There's no blemish on you this day. I've forgiven you for all that you did. And then he started naming them. He said the house of Abu Sufyan is safe. Abu Sufyan was fighting against him all this time. He took Shahada. His family took Shahada. His family got fatwa from the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Sufyan fought alongside the Prophet ﷺ and defended the Prophet ﷺ with his body and lost his eye in the battle. Battle Hunayn and Taif. I don't want you brothers and sisters to underestimate or to downplay the importance of loyalty, the importance of knowing what side you're on, and the importance of knowing that sometimes your disloyalty can be used not only against the one who you being disloyal to, it can also be used against you later on. And it happened many times in history. I don't have time to go into it. It happened in Al-Andalus. It happened in Spain. The Reconquista. Look how that happened. They played on the internal beef between the Muslims. This is how Shaitan works. He uses you against someone that you're supposed to be united with. And then when he's finished with you, he attacks you. And a lot of people don't understand this yet. A lot of times the thoughts that we have that comes to our mind, we need to evaluate where these ideas are coming from. Is it coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or is it coming from a jinn? Is it coming from our nafs? This bright idea that we have, is it motivated by something that I want, my shahwa, my desires? The thing that I'm advocating, the thing that I'm pushing for, is it because of some imbalanced love? Is it because I want this so bad that everything that's haram, I want to make it halal just to get to this? Indeed, in their stories are lessons of people that have depth and insight. May Allah make us from amongst ulil albab. ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى اله وصحبه